What if I told you that you could build your own AI assistant that's better than Jarvis using entirely no-code tools? Well, that's no longer just a dream. I'm Blaze. I'm the CEO of LangLabs. We are the premier AI and automation development agency. We build real AI solutions for real companies. I'm about to take you on an incredible tech journey. Today, I'm unveiling the ultimate voice assistant built using no-code tools. You'll see it in action and learn how I made it. So, if you're ready to witness the future of artificial intelligence, let's get started. Hey Google, write a message to Elon Musk. Write a motivational speech for the development team and post it to Discord.
So that's a message to Elon Musk saying, write a motivational speech for the development team and post it to Discord. Ready to send it?
Send it.
Sending your message.
So, as you can see, it posted to our Discord and said, "Dear development team, I just wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude for all the hard work you've been putting in. Your dedication and commitment to excellence is truly inspiring, and I have no doubt that we will achieve great things together. Keep up the amazing work, and I know that your efforts are appreciated and valued. Thank you." Our chief of automation said, "Wow, that was Amazon. Amazing." And our director of backend development said, "I'm amazed. Wow." So, how did this actually work under the hood? Let's take a look. So, we got to take a look at the application in action. Let's dig deeper to what is actually going on. So, I have Flowwise open here, and this is my flow that I created. I have it called Smart GPT, and that is inspired, and I use the Smart GPT prompt chain in this super smart voice assistant. It looks a little complicated, so let's break it down into smaller chunks. The main agent you're interacting with is the conversational agent. This node right here. This agent is responsible for interacting and is basically the quarterback for this whole thing. You can see it has 3 requirements: allowed tools, chat models, and memory. I'll start with memory. The memory is for this node here. This is buffer memory, and it allows for conversational chat history. The language model I'm using is chatgpt, the 3.5 model. You can use GPT-4, but 3.5 is good enough. And it's a great language model, and it's fast. So when you value speed, you should use the 3.5 model if you're using OpenAI's language models. Now, I gave the conversational agent access to 3 different tools. The first tool is the web browser. This will, if it needs to search something up with this other tool, SERP API, it'll have the URL and it'll be able to browse the web just like you and I. For this, it requires a language model and vector embeddings, or an embedding model rather. So we're using the OpenAI embedding model and the ChatGPT 3.5. Next, we're using Zapier NLP, which is the natural language action product of Zapier. This is a very, very powerful tool with basically limitless possibilities. Zapier has so many different integrations that what makes Zapier NLP super special, though, is that you can converse with Zapier and conversationally interact with all the different integrations that you have it set up to use in your Zapier instance. So you can use Google Sheets, you can use Discord, like I demonstrated earlier, LinkedIn, all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. it can do anything in that you can do with Zapier, the Zapier NLP can do. And how it works is you basically send the message. So at the end of all of the processing that this conversational agent and the smart agents are doing, it'll send that response to Zapier, and Zapier will automatically know what to do. So I didn't have to specify like, okay, message in this Discord group specifically, message in that Discord group specifically. Zapier already knew which one it was talking about because I just with the message that was included in that original message. Next, we have the SERP API, which allows you to search. So very handy tool. It'll basically Google search type of functionality that the agent can use to search for what it needs. Now, going a little bit more complicated is this large chain over here. This is a prompt chain. I have this chain named Smart Chain. This is paying homage to Smart GPT. There's a nice research paper that kind of shows that the types of prompts that you use really matter, and if you use high quality prompts, you'll get high quality responses. It makes sense, but sometimes if you get a little lazy, you'll want to just kind of blurt out whatever's in your head. But there are scientifically proven ways to get a better response, and I'll talk on it quickly, but the paper will be linked in the description below. So I gave this chain the following description. Smart chain. You are required to use this chain at least once prior to responding to the user, but you should use other tools first. This is useful for giving the user the best response. You have other tools that can be used, so be sure to use them as well if needed. You have to be really particular with your chain descriptions so that your conversational agent knows what it does. You can give this chain any description, and that is what is so nice about Flowwise is there are so many different functionalities that you can create. The limit is your imagination. So it's a great piece of software. One caveat though is although it's powerful, you can definitely get much better output if you code from scratch using LangChain. So Flowwise is a graphical rendition of LangChain JavaScript. So all of the nodes that are available on LangChain JavaScript, they have to get ported to Flowwise. Flowwise is this graphical user interface to develop with LangChain. And as you can see, this is no code. You don't have to know any code to code all this stuff. You just have to prompt engineer, if you will, and put your API keys in. So with that, the rest of this chain is the prompt chain. Prompt chaining is a useful skill set, maybe is a good way to describe it. It's a tool used to chain prompts together. It's in the name. But what does that actually mean? For this case, I have 3 prompts chained together to form the prompt chain. This is what's known as the Smart GPT prompt chain. Starting at the very end, we have this node here. This is a large language model chain, and it requires a language model and a prompt. The language model I chose is the 3.5 Turbo. Basically, any language model used in this application, I used the GPT 3.5 Turbo model for the purposes of speed. You can use GPT-4. It's just a little bit slower. The response will be better, but for an assistant, you kind of want a fast answer. So I chose 3.5. So here is getting to more of the important stuff of this prompt chain. The prompt I gave it was question and parentheses, curly brackets, task. Answer. Let's work this out in a sequential manner to be sure we have the best answer. What this means is that if you go to the format prompt values, I have the variable task will get assigned the value that the user from the user's question from the chat box. We didn't use the chat box in this instance. They do have over here. You can see this is a chat box. What it means though is whatever is sent to the your API endpoint, it'll be classified as the question. So even if it's a task, this is just kind of the naming convention for Flowwise. So for our case, for that Discord motivational message, the question was the task to write a motivational speech. So I gave that task the question, the name of task. So just for clear use going forward, because these variables can be used pretty much anywhere in your chain. So that's all it is. And throw in 3 more of these LLM chains together, and you have a prompt chain, the Smart GPT prompt chain. The output of this chain, which I have called the Option AI chain, will be sent to this prompt template. So here in the format prompts value, you can see there's this new one. The last one only had task. This one has options. I assigned the variable options to be assigned to the output from that last chain. So you can see that I had it called Option AI. The output from Option AI will be imported in here as options. And I have tasks imported from the user. So this will remain the same throughout. This prompt template is connected to the large language model chain, which also has a language model, the 3.5 chatgpt version. This chain is called the Research AI chain, and this is the prompt that I gave it. Our overall task is quotes, curly brackets, task. Our options are quotes, curly bracket, options. You are a researcher tasked with investigating the response options provided. List the flaws and faulty logic of each answer option. Let's work this out in a step-by-step way to be sure we have all the errors. The response from this prompt will be sent to the last prompt in this chain. And I had that chain called Research AI. It gets fed into the format prompt values, and you can see that I have the variable research will be referencing the LLM chain 3 data instance, which if we take a look, is the output of Research AI. And I'm bringing the task question into this prompt. The prompt is, our overall task is, quotes, curly bracket, task. You are a resolver tasked with 1, finding which of the research answer options the researcher thought was best. 2, improving that answer. And 3, printing the improved answer in full. Let's work this out in a step-by-step way to be sure we have the right answer. So all of that coupled together, that chain, creates a better and more optimized response. So I just went through this entire chat flow with you, and although it looks complicated, as you can see, I broke it down step by step, and each piece of each node in this chat flow serves a purpose. And if you think about it step by step, it is really simple and intuitive. However, I would like to mention that there are a few limitations with Flowwise. Flowwise is a great project, do not get me wrong. However, I would not recommend it for production level programs that you develop. You should be developing those with LangChain proper, so LangChain or LangChain JavaScript, if you're using Python or JavaScript. Flowwise does have its purpose though, because it is graphical and so seamless to use, and you can deploy things really rapidly. You can design the basis for your application's architecture graphically on Flowwise, and from there, they are going to be implementing the ability to export your chat flow as a standalone application written in Python or JavaScript. So there's a lot of power in this application. I do want to give props to the team, Henry and Yao. They are working around the clock to make sure guys like me using their software to kind of draft up MVPs for clients in order to have a kind of a working product to show and demonstrate before we get into the nitty gritty of fine tuning the application to their specific needs. Flowwise allows for that, which something that would normally take a few days, maybe even a week. You can get a rapid MVP out and you can host it on Replit in less than an hour. Throw in your API keys, throw in your prompts, and you have an application with an API endpoint, and the options are limitless. It's crazy software. I highly recommend you give it a shot. So this is Flowwise. This is the graphical side. We can take a look under the hood. So this is the console print. As you can see, chain 1 executor. It's basically just going down the chain. passing one output from one prompt chain to the next. And eventually, you'll have the message where it gets sent to Discord. A motivational speech was posted to the development team on Discord. So this is what it looks like under the hood. Moving on. You may be wondering, how did we go from talking on the voice assistant to the message popping up on Discord? I showed you that first, that the meat and the engine of this application, but let's talk about how it actually got from point A to point B. We're using Zapier, a no-code tool, and you do have to make a Zap, but don't worry, it's only 2 steps. Step 1, you have a trigger. The trigger is whenever you get a new SMS in Twilio, it'll send it to as a post in webhooks. So this is that post request to the API endpoint that we can find over here in Flowwise. So you click this button over here and copy this URL. This is your API endpoint. You can put some security on it. It's always a good best practice. For this case, I chose not to, just to build this application as fast as possible. So I'm showing you that even if you are not the most technically proficient, the most tech savvy guy or gal, you can build this really quickly. This is better than the Alexas, better than the Google Assistants all by themselves. You can have a powerful chatbot. You can add different tools to fit your needs, and you can deploy it rapidly. So you get that API URL is the API endpoint. Fill in your Twilio information. Fill in your API information. So you can see I put the URL here. The main things, like the Twilio setup, is really easy. You'll make a Twilio account, and you'll fill in the information. Over here, the post and webhooks by Zapier. Things could get a little bit wrong if you don't organize this and put the right information where it needs to be. So you put your URL. The payload type is a JSON payload, and you have to make sure that data here is done properly. So the data, you'll be sending the question, so keeping that same nomenclature on Zapier to Flowwise, that's important. And when you are building this on your own, you'll have to drag and drop the body of the message from Twilio into this box here. So anytime you send a message, this body will change. And whenever you're messaging your voice assistant, it'll populate that new message you send into this box, which is what gets sent to Flowwise, your Flowwise that's hosted on Replit. So really simple setup, 2 steps. Now here's Twilio. This is that SMS tool that you saw just now. They have a free option. I'm on that trial right now. And you get a free $15 to mess around. There are so many different things you can do on Twilio, but for the purposes of this application, all you need to do is get a phone number and that can do messaging. You'll get, I closed this box just to hide like my own API keys and whatnot. But when you click account info, you'll be able to get your SID and your auth key, which is what you'll have to include in Zapier for the connection to be fulfilled. That's all you need. You'll get a number, and whenever you get your phone, you can just change the name of your assistant in your phone to whatever you want. You can, like I did, we chose Elon Musk because one of the other projects our team is working on is a Musk GPT, which is a voice user interface chatbot that is trained on Elon Musk's voice and his data, if you will. Don't worry, don't sue us. We're not selling this or anything. This is more so an application to show what we at LangLabs are capable of. It's a solution that can't be built with the no-code tools. We are building it up from scratch. And probably by the time you're watching this video, we'll be complete with that project, and you'll probably see it in the link in the description. So, go into Zapier NLA, the natural language actions. This is what I was talking about. As you can see, natural language actions, this is that tool where you can send any message, kind of similar to how our Flowwise Replit works, where you can send it a message and it'll do its magic under the hood. That's kind of what Zapier NLA does with its huge suite of software that is connected through API on it. I only have a few connected right now, but the possibilities are endless. You can send a message to Discord, or you can create a company update in LangLabs. You can literally do anything. Anything you can do in Zapier, you can do with the Zapier NLP, and you don't have to provide much information to it. Just hook it up. Anything you give it permission to do, it'll be able to do it. And lastly, SERP API. So one of the tools that we gave our conversational agent was SERP API. This tool allows you to just search the web, but it's not you doing it. It's programmatically allowing our agents to conduct searches for us. I know ChatGPT has plugins now and has the ability to search, but as you can see, there is so much more potential and versatility with developing your own LangChain application. If it's a little bit too complicated for you, come to us. Let us know. We offer coaching. We are always open to talk about AI. The space is moving very rapidly, and it's always nice to have someone to talk to you about it. We also offer a completely hands-off, done-for-you development service for bigger projects that require a more custom and nuanced approach in tackling. So if that interests you, be sure to click the links in our bio and connect with us. We're looking forward to hearing from you.